Beloved Bhagwan, you are the world. This is one of the confusing statements of Krishnamurti. We don't think there is anybody else present on the earth except you who could help us to understand it. So we request you to say something on it.
Yesterday, there was a question left for tomorrow. But just now I realized that tomorrow never comes. Unless tomorrow comes sometime, that question will have to wait. J. Krishnamurti's statement that you are the world is not confusing at all. It is very simple, just a little intelligence is needed to understand it. We can try to approach the statement from few different directions. The world is only a name. The individual is the reality. You can go on trying to find the world all over the world. You will not find it. You will always find the individual. Words like the world, the society, the religion, the nation are mere words with no content behind them. Empty containers. Except you, there is no world. This is one way of understanding the statement, that the individual is the only reality and the world is nothing but the collectivity of individuals. So whatever it is a contribution of individuals. If it is ugly, you have contributed to its ugliness. If it is full of hate, jealousy, anger, greed, ambition, you have contributed to this whole hell in which we are living. You cannot throw the responsibility on somebody else. You have to accept the responsibility on your own shoulders. That is another way of understanding the statement. You are the world. We are continuously shifting the responsibility. If there is war, if there is an Adolf Hitler, a Ronald Reagan, it becomes easy for us to point to these people that they are responsible. But who makes them? Adolf Hitler is our contribution. Without us, he is nobody. Ronald Reagan is nothing but our opinion. It is our vote. It is our support. So the moment you condemn anybody, remember, you are condemning yourself. However indirect your contribution may be, but your contribution is there. It is possible to live like a Jain monk or a Buddhist monk or a Catholic monk in a monastery, completely closed as far as the world is concerned. There are monasteries in Tibet. There used to be many in China before the communist revolution. There are few in Europe with a strange and long history. The monastery of Ethos in Europe is 1,000 years old. In 1,000 years, whoever has entered in the monastery has not come out living. You only enter. Once a monk, forever a monk. and the monastery does not allow its inmates to come out into the world. They are brought out only when they are dead. Do you think they are not responsible for Adolf Hitler? They are not responsible for world wars? Apparently it looks how you can make these people responsible, who have left the world, who have never looked back, who have disconnected themselves with the world. But still I say to you, they are responsible. They are responsible by escaping. They escape their responsibility. It does not make any difference. The Buddhist monks, the Jain monks, the Hindu monks, they are not participating in worldly activities. But you can contribute in a positive way. You can contribute in a negative way. You can put fire to this house. That is a positive way. You can stand by the side of the road and not do anything to put the fire out. That is the negative way. But both are responsible. The negative person does not look so responsible, but his responsibility is absolutely equal, because in life there is a balance. You may be against war. You may be a pacifist. You may be a chronic Protestant, always with a flag protesting against war, against violence. Naturally, you can say how I can be held to be responsible. But life is a complex phenomenon. Your protests, your pacifism, your fight against warmongers is still part of war. You are not a man of peace And you can see when people protest, their anger, their violence is so obvious that one wonders that why these people are protesting against war. They should join some camp in the war. They are full of anger, rage, just they have chosen to have a third camp behind a beautiful name, peace. A good mask but inside is the same anger, the same rage, the same violence, the same destructiveness against anybody who does not agree with you. They are contributing to the atmosphere as much violence as anybody else. They may be talking about love, but they are also talking that you have to fight for love. Hazrat Muhammad on his sword had words written meaning peace is my message. He could find only a sword to write that peace is my message. And he gave the birth to a religion he called Islam. Islam means peace. And Islam has done as much violence in the world as no other religion has done. In the name of peace, on the point of his sword, Islam has been killing, converting millions of people. You can choose beautiful words, but you cannot hide the reality. J. Krishnamurti's statement that you are the world simply emphasizes the fact that every individual, wherever he is, whatever he is, should accept the responsibility of creating this world that exists around us. If it is insane, you have contributed to that insanity in your own way. If it is sick, you are also a partner in making it sick. And the emphasis is important, because unless you understand that I am also responsible for this miserable and insane world, there is no possibility of change. Who is going to change? Everybody thinks somebody else is responsible. In one of India's great emperor, Akbar, there is an incident in his life recorded in Akbar Nama, the biography of Akbar, that one day he was just chit-chatting with his friends, and he had the very best, wisest, most creative people chosen from every part of the country. Just by his side was standing his coarse joker. By the way, you should understand it, that in all the courts of all great emperors, there used to be a joker whose whole function was to keep the court not to become too serious. To keep the court light, playful, once in a while an explosion of laughter, and it was a great insight to have a court jester. And he used to be one of the most wise men of those days, because it was not an easy phenomenon. Birbal was Akbar's court joker. And as they were discussing, Akbar slapped Birbal for no reason at all. Now, you cannot slap back the emperor, but the slap has to go somewhere. So he slapped the person who was standing by his side. Everybody thought this is strange. There was no reason in the first place. Suddenly, as if a madness has got hold of Akbar, he slapped poor Birbal, and that man is also strange. Rather than asking why you have slapped me, he simply slapped the man who was standing by his side. And that man, seeing, thought perhaps this is the rule of the court. So he slapped the next person in a chain. It went all over the court, and you will be surprised. In the night, the wife of Akbar slapped him. And he said, "Why you are slapping me?" He said, "That is not the question. A game is a game." He said, "Who told you that this is a game?" He said, "We have been hearing the whole day that a great game has started in the court. Just the rule is you cannot hit the person back. You have to find somebody else to hit. And somebody has hit me. So your slap is back to you. The game is complete." In this big world, thousands of insane games are going on. And you are all participants. Of course, in very small measures, according to your capacity. But remember, the slap is going to come back to you sooner or later. Where it will go. So whatever comes to you, remember, it is your doing. Perhaps you have forgotten when you had started it. The world is big, it takes time. But everything comes back to its source. That is one of the fundamental rules of life. Not a rule of a game. So if you are suffering, if you are miserable, if you are tense, full of anxieties, anguish, don't just console yourself that this whole world is ugly, that everybody else is ugly, that you are a victim. Jai Krishnamurti is saying you are not a victim. You are a creator of this insane world. And naturally, you have to participate in the outcome of whatever you have contributed to it. You are participating in sowing the seeds. You will have to participate in reaping the crop too. You cannot escape. To make the individual aware that he stops throwing responsibilities on others, on the contrary, starts looking inwards, that in what way he is contributing to this whole madness. There is a possibility he may stop contributing, because he has to suffer too. If he comes to know that the whole world is nothing but his projection, on a wider scale, because millions of individuals have contributed the same anger, the same hatred, the same competitiveness, the same violence, it has become mountainous. He cannot conceive that I can be responsible for it. He may have contributed just a small piece, but an ocean is nothing except millions and millions of dewdrops. A dewdrop cannot think that I am responsible for the ocean, but the dewdrop is responsible. Without the dewdrop, there is going to be no ocean at all. The ocean is only a name. The reality is in the dewdrop. To accept your responsibility will change you. And your change is the beginning of the change of the world. Because you are the world. However small, a miniature world, but you carry all the seeds, and if revolution comes to you, it heralds the revolution for the whole world. And when J. Krishnamurti is saying, you are the world, he is not saying only to you. He is saying to everybody, you are the world. And if you want to change the world, don't start by changing the world. That is the wrong way humanity has followed up to now. Change the society, change the economic structure, change this, change that, but don't change the individual. That's why all revolutions have failed. Only one revolution can succeed which have not been tried up to now, and that is the revolution of the individual. You change yourself. Be alert not to contribute anything that makes the world a hell. And remember to contribute to the world something that makes it a paradise. This is the whole secret of a religious man. And if every individual starts doing it, there will be a revolution without any bloodshed. In Akbar's life, there is another incident. He had made a very beautiful marble pond. He was bringing swans from Mansarovar, from the Himalayas. And he wanted that in the pond there should not be water. This is emperor's pond. Instead of water, there should be milk. And everybody in the capital should be informed that not much, just one bucket of milk from every house has to reach tomorrow early morning before sun rises. Birbal told to Akbar that you don't understand human mind at all. Your pond will be full of water. He said, what nonsense? It is my order. Birbal said, your order or anybody's order. But I understand human mind. Akbar said, let us wait. Tomorrow morning it will be decided who is right. And tomorrow morning both came to the garden and it was full of water. Akbar said, this is strange. How it happened? Catch few people from the street, whoever is available, and ask how it happened. And they were threatened that if they speak any lie, their life is at risk. If they say the truth, they will be left. They said the truth is, we thought the whole capital is going to bring buckets of milk, one bucket of water will be completely lost. Nobody will ever know. But now I can see that the pond is full of water. It seems everybody thought the same way. The whole capital, not a single man, was different. The human mind functions exactly the same. So if the world is such a tragedy, it is our human minds which are making it. And we are contributing our bucketful of misery. No revolution can be successful unless human mind is understood by human beings and they start behaving in a different way. Not hoping that my bucketful of water is not going to be noticed at all. If everybody has thought that this is what will come to every human mind, the idea, at least I should bring a bucketful of milk. I should not behave in an unconscious way as all human beings are behaving. It was possible to have the pond full of milk. You are the world simply means whatever it is, we cannot save ourselves from responsibility. Our monks, our saints have tried only this. What they were trying, if you go deep into their psychology, they were trying that we are no more responsible for all this nonsense that is going on in the world. But they depended on the same world. For their food, they were dependent on the same people. For their clothes, they were dependent on the same people. They were not in any way separate from the world. They had only stopped being active in the world. They were silent partners of the whole insanity that is going on. And they should be condemned more, because they were more intelligent people, wiser people. Still they could not see the point that just by standing aside is not enough. You have to do something against the normal human mind. Escaping to the Himalayas is not going to help. Because even in the Himalayas, your mind will remain the same. Just you will not have the opportunity to know it. And it is better to know the enemy rather than not to know it. Because by knowing, there is a possibility to change. Not knowing is very dangerous. When a disease is diagnosed, it is half cured. When a disease is not diagnosed, then comes the real problem. Medicine is not the problem. Diagnosis is the problem. One man lived 30 years in the Himalayas, and his problem was anger. And he wanted to get rid of it. In the Himalayas for 30 years, he was not angry for a single moment. There was no reason. The wife was not there, the children were not there, the parents were not there, the society was not there. There was no provocation. And his name became famous by and by. People started coming to worship him. Now there was even more difficulties to be aware that the anger is still there. When people are worshipping you, there is no question of anger. And then came the Kumbh Mela in Allahabad, and people said that you are such a great saint. Without you, the Kumbh Mela, the greatest gathering of people on the earth in one place, it will be missing something. You have to come. And now he was convinced that he has become a great saint. People are coming from far away to the difficult, arduous journey of the mountains just to pay respect to him. He came to Kumbh Mela. But there were millions of people. Nobody knew him. Somebody stepped on his foot, and immediately he slapped the man, took hold of his neck, and said, "What do you think?" And suddenly he remembered that he is a saint. He said, "My God, what I am doing? What happened to 30 years? The anger came in such a flash, so instantaneously, not giving even a single moment of thinking. He was going to kill the man. That was the problem. He had gone to the Himalayas because he was afraid he will murder somebody and will be crucified or will have to live his whole life in the jail. Even his family said, "It is good you go to the Himalayas, because you will kill somebody and that means you have killed yourself too." This way 2 lives are saved. You go. But 30 years, what happened? It is simple fact that the people who escaped from the world are not to think that they are not responsible for this world. By escaping, they have not changed the world. By escaping, they have not contributed anything to make it more beautiful, more humane, more intelligent, more meditative. Neither they have changed the world, nor they have gone through any inner change themselves. Hence, I am against renouncing the world. be in the world, however difficult it is, because it is only in the world that you will be on every step reminded what kind of mind you are carrying within. And that mind is projected on the outside. It becomes huge because so many minds are projecting in the same way. You are the world does not mean that it is a mathematical statement. You are the world means that it is a psychological insight. And it can become the very key for the only revolution that can succeed.
Beloved Bhagwan, have you anything to say about channeling? Supposedly, a spirit being speaks through a willing human host. This is a growing phenomenon that's happening right now, particularly in California and New York. There are famous ones, Seth, Ramtha, and Nazura, but now they are springing up everywhere. People claiming to channel Kuan Yin, beings from other galaxies, etc., etc. A common theme seems to be that they've come to help the planet evolve right now. The word channeling is about as common as Coca-Cola. Even some sannyasins claiming to channel this one or that one. There is almost an attitude that if one is not channeling someone, one is not open to spiritual possibilities. Is channeling a real phenomenon? Why is this springing up right now? And why are people so attracted to channeled beings and information? Is there anything for our spiritual growth in this?
David and Kavisha. California needs all kinds of idiotic ideas. It seems all the idiots of the world are born in California. It is the land of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. everything is possible in California. But it remains only for a few years. Three years, 4 years at the most. Then the fashion changes. In California, everything is a fashion. And when something is in fashion, everybody is involved in it. Because not to be involved in it means you are out of date, lagging behind, not belonging to the contemporary world. Channeling is simply a new name for an old disease. In the past, they used to call it being possessed by the ghosts. Channeling is the new name for being possessed. Then the ghost speaks. But that is very old idea. Not very appealing. In old countries, it still continues to happen. There are people who become possessed in villages in India, and when they are possessed, you can ask questions and they answer. And they answer in such a way, you can make anything out of it. It is never a certain meaningful statement. Channeling is American translation of the old idea of being possessed. There are many people in America, particularly in California and New York, who become possessed, and then they start talking to you. They answer, and certainly their language is different from the old. It is more scientific. The very word channeling has come from television. Channel number 1, channel number 2. Now, the poor old countries cannot think of channeling. That word is not yet meaningful to them. And The idea of channeling has given a scope that you are channeling to a certain planet, a certain galaxy, and you can say anything nonsense. There is no way to prove it right or wrong. Even scientists know nothing about galaxies. There are at least 50 million galaxies. Scientists are still working with very refined instruments to count how many galaxies are there. And one galaxy means one sun and the planets that are attached to the sun. This is one solar system. A galaxy means millions of suns, millions of solar systems, which are moving around certain unknown center of gravity. Each galaxy is so huge, science has not been able to find facts even about one galaxy. The galaxy in which we live and now there are cunning and there are stupid and there are idiots who are channeling to other galaxies and bringing messages to humanity. Books are printed with their messages. But the whole thing is that a person goes into a deep hypnotic sleep. If it is authentic, out of 10, 9 are not authentic. If somebody is authentic, then all that happens in reality is he relaxes, his conscious mind goes to sleep, and from his unconscious mind, collective unconscious mind, cosmic unconscious mind, things start coming up. You can call them, they are coming from ghosts. You can call them in psychological terms, they are coming from the unconscious. Or you can call them in Californian terms, they are coming from channel number 1, channel number 2. But they are all coming from your own unconscious mind. And this is about the authentic. And when so many people are channeling, it becomes a competition. If somebody else is channeling, why you cannot channel? No talent is needed. No intelligence is needed. All that is needed is insincerity, cunningness, fraud, in India, Mohammedans every year have their holy festival, Muharram. And in Muharram, holy spirits possess people. And those holy spirits, because Mohammedans, just like Christians and Jews, believe only in one life, those holy spirits are always around until the last judgment day, which goes on postponing. And I don't think it is going to happen ever. I had a center in Jabalpur near a Mohammedan graveyard. And they reported to the collector that because of our meditations, the spirits in their graves are very much disturbed. The collector called me that why you are disturbing their spirits. I said, this is strange. What report you have received? Who has come? He said, Mohammedans, and it may create unnecessarily a riot in Jabalpur. It was one of the most vulnerable cities in India for Mohammedan and Hindu riots. Any excuse. And their excuse was that because we, doing meditation, use the Sufi mantra who. So they say, because they say who, the Mohammedan souls lying down in the graves woke up. These are dangerous people because nobody has ever heard about such a meditation. And after 1 hour, these are gone, and those spirits roam about and torture Mohammedans, and many are becoming possessed. The collector said, stop. At least this who mantra should be stopped because it can create a trouble. And in your own book you have explained that who is part of Allahu. It is a Sufi mantra. So they have a certain ground against you. that you are disturbing the souls. They are sleeping well, and you who every morning, and they get so disturbed that they start torturing Mohammedans. So I had to stop that center. In my childhood, in my village, in each Muharram time, in their holidays, they call it the possession of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is called Wali. There are few people who are thought to be very saintly. They are possessed by Walis. And they dance, and they shout, scream, and you can ask questions, and they should not run away, so their hands are tied with ropes, and two persons keep them in control. And there are many Walis, and each Wali has his own crowd, and people come with sweets and fruits. Somebody has received a blessing last year and has got a boy, a child. Somebody has got married, and somebody has come to get blessing for the future. Only Mohammedans participate in it, but I always enjoyed every kind of entertainment. My parents used to tell me that, listen, that is Mohammedan festival, you are not supposed to be there. I said, I'm neither Hindu, nor Mohammedan, nor Jain, nor anybody. What do you mean that I cannot enjoy anything? All festivals belong to some religion. In fact, I belong to no religion, so I can participate in all festivals. So I will go there, and I managed to pull the rope of one Wali who was just an ordinary man and a fraud. And I had told him before that I will expose you if you don't allow me to keep your rope. He said, you can keep my rope and you can share few sweets also, but don't say anybody anything. We both used to go to the same gymnasium. That's why we became friends. And he himself told me that it is all fake. So I said, that means I am coming. If it is fake, you have to share it. And I used to go there with a long needle. So I will make him jump. It became the most famous wali, because nobody was jumping so high, and he will be telling me that this is, he could not say that what is happening because he is possessed by the wali, and wali cannot be afraid of a needle, so he could not say anything, and I went on pushing. He managed to get almost 4 times more sweet, more fruits, more rupees, more people came to get his blessing. He said, "That's great, but you tortured me so much." I was in such a demand from that day that everybody wanted his rope should be given to me, because whoever gets me as his assistant becomes the greatest wali immediately, the same very day. 10 days the function continues. And nobody wanted next day. He said, "I will escape from the town if you come again." I said, "There is no need. I am in so much demand. Other fools who don't know what is happening, you just give me half share, because you have still got double." And I found almost everybody was a fraud, because I jumped with everybody with their rope, with my needle. Not a single one in the whole town was an authentic person who was possessed or anything. They were just pretending. Shouting, screaming, saying things that you cannot understand. But you have to make, and the Maulvis, the Mohammedan scholars will explain to you what is the meaning of it. You have been blessed. Your desire will be fulfilled. And who bothers whose desire is fulfilled or not? If 100 people come, at least 50% desire are going to be fulfilled. These 50 will come, and these 50 will spread the idea. The other 50 will also come, not to the same wali. 2 other walis are there, because these walis that they have come doesn't seem to work. Perhaps they are not powerful enough. And my walis were the most powerful. And the power was decided how long they jump, how much they scream, how much they shout. And everybody asked me, why they go on doing this to you? I said, that is a spiritual language you will not understand. In California, Kavisa, you can start a new game. Don't bother about this channeling. Within 2 years, it will be past. California is good. It has money. It has young generation. unemployed, and it has a tradition of changing everything, changing the job, changing the wife, changing the town, changing the house. In 2-3 years they become bored. So rather than being worried about their channeling, it is absolute fraud. And if there is someone sincere, that means he is relaxing to the point where the unconscious mind starts throwing up the repressed content. It has no spiritual value. But it will be good to check. Go to any person who is channeling with the galaxy, but keep a good needle with you. With the needle, the person will start dancing, jumping, and his galaxies will start going higher from 1 channel to 9 channel. You can check. If your needle does not work, that means the person is at least not a fraud, but the person is simply falling into unconsciousness and allowing his unconscious to reveal its content. But they have no spiritual value. But before coming back, try the needle. Particularly on the famous ones.
Beloved Bhagwan, do you really say yes to me totally, just the way I am?
Yes. I say yes totally to you as you are, because that is the only way I can transform you. My acceptance does not mean that you have to remain what you are. My acceptance means that whatever you are, I respect you, I love you. But at the same time, my acceptance means that you can be much more. That this is not the end of your journey. In fact, you have not even begun yet. But I can see the potential. For centuries, this has been the way. To challenge you to seek and search. You have been condemned that whatever you are wrong. The emphasis was that if you are proved to be wrong, a sinner, then you will start changing. But that whole technique has failed. People accepted that they are wrong, they are sinners, and it is beyond them to be saints. So relax and be sinners. Of course, not in a joyous way. With a sadness. Their whole life becomes, in their own eyes, unworthy, guilty, sinful, sad. A long, dark story. Useless, futile. The past has condemned you. With the hope that this will change you. But their hope has proved wrong. I'm going to try totally a different method. I accept you as you are. But that does not mean that I want you to remain as you are. I love you as you are. But I love you because you have so much potential in you. Such a great possibility of growth. Just a little effort and you can become a light unto yourself. Whatever you are, enjoy it. But there is much more. So don't stop at it. You are at the first rung of the ladder. It is perfectly good. Because without being on the first rung, how can you be on the second? And how you can be on the final, the ultimate? Nobody is a sinner. Yes, there are people who commit mistakes, but nobody is a sinner. And everybody has a right to commit mistakes, because that is the only way to learn. And everybody has to stumble in dark. That is nothing special to you. Everybody falls once in a while. And that is good training. To me, whatever existence makes you available is for your good. Just use it and keep your eyes on the faraway stars. They belong to you. However far they are not beyond your reach.
Beloved Bhagwan, in recent years, science has been discovering more and more the element of subjectivity in experiments in physics. Also in medicine today, we talk about the subjectivity of therapy. The same medicine has different results with different doctors. Please, can you comment about the subjectivity of a science that claims to be an objective one?
Anything that has to do with human beings can never be totally objective. It will have to allow a certain space for subjectivity. It is not only true that the same medicine has different effects from different doctors. It is also true the same medicine has different effects on different patients from the same doctor. Man is not an object. First, you have to understand the word subject. A piece of a stone is just an object. There is no interiority in it. There is no innerness in it. You can cut it in two, then there are two objects. You can cut it in four, there are four objects. But there you will not find any interiority. Subjectivity means that from the outside, a man is just as objective as any other object. A statue, a dead body, a living body. What is the difference? The statue is simply an object. It has no subjectivity. The dead body once has been a house for a subjective phenomenon, but now it is empty. Now it is an empty house. The person who used to live in it has left it. The living man has all the objectivity of the statue, of the dead body, and something more, an interior dimension. Which can change many things, because it is the most powerful thing in existence. For example, it has been noted that the same disease, 3 persons are suffering, but the same medicine is not working. On one person it is working, on another it is just 50-50, working, not working. But on the third it is not working at all. The disease is the same, but the interiorities are different. And if you take the interiority into consideration, then perhaps the doctor will make different impact on different people for different reasons. One of my friends was a great surgeon in Nagpur. A great surgeon, but not a good man. He never failed in his surgery. He charged 5 times more than any other surgeon will charge. I was staying with him. I asked him that this is too much. When other surgeons are charging for the same disease, you charge 5 times. He said to me that my success on many other grounds has also this ground. When a person gives me 5 times more, he is determined to survive. It is not only money that I am greedy. If he is willing to give me 5 times more, when he could get the operation in cheaper rates, he is determined to survive, whatsoever the cost. And his determination is almost 50% of my success. There are people who don't want to survive. They are not willing to cooperate with the doctor. They are taking the medicine. But there is no will to survive. On the contrary, they are hoping that the medicine does not work. So they are not blamed of suicide, and yet they can get rid of life. Now that person from the inside has withdrawn already. Medicine cannot help his interiority. And without his interior support, the doctor is almost helpless. The medicine is not enough. And I came to know from this surgeon, he said, you don't know, sometimes I do things which are absolutely immoral. But to help the patient, I have to do them. I said, what do you mean? He said, I am condemned by my profession. And all the doctors of Nagpur condemned him. That we have never seen such a cheat. He will put the patient on the table in the operation theatre. Doctors are ready, nurses are ready. Above in the gallery, students are watching. And he will whisper in the ear of the patient that we had agreed for 10,000, that will not do. Your problem is more serious. If you are ready to give me 20,000, I am going to take the instruments in my hands, otherwise you get up and get out. You can find cheaper people. Now, in such a situation, and the person has money, otherwise how he can say yes? And he accepts that I will give 20,000. But save me. And he told me that any surgeon could have saved him. But not with such certainty. Now that he is paying 20,000, he is absolutely with me. His whole interior being is supportive. People condemn me because they don't understand me. Certainly it is immoral to agree on 10,000 and then put the person on the operation theater and then whisper in his ear that 20,000, 30,000, otherwise get up and get out. Because I had not realized that the disease has gone so deep. I am taking a risk and I am putting my whole reputation. For 10,000 I will not do that. I have never failed in my life. Success is my rule. I operate only when I am absolutely certain to succeed. So you decide. And I don't have much time because there are other patients waiting. You just decide within 2 minutes, either get up and be last. Naturally, the person will say, I will give you anything you want. But please do the operation. It is illegal. It is immoral. But I cannot say that it is unpsychological. Anything to do with man cannot be purely objective. I used to have another friend, a doctor, who is now in jail because he was not qualified at all. He has never been in any medical college. All degrees that he has written on his board were bogus. But still I am of the favor that injustice has been done with the man. Because it does not matter whether he had degrees or not. He helped thousands of people. And particularly those who were becoming hopeless, going from one doctor to another, who were all having degrees. And he was getting tired. And this man was able to save them. He has a certain charisma, no degree. And he has made his hospital almost a magic land. The moment a patient will enter into his office, immediately he will be surprised. He has been, because people used to go to him only as a last resort. Everybody knew that that man is bogus. It was not something hidden. It was open secret. But if you are going to die, what is the harm to try? And as you will enter into his garden, he has a beautiful garden, then his office. His office, he had beautiful women as his reception people. And all that was part of his medical treatment. Because even if a person is dying, looking at a beautiful woman, his own will to live takes a jump. He wants to live. And after the reception, the person will pass through his lab. That was absolutely unnecessary. To take him through the lab, but he wanted the person to see that it is not an ordinary doctor. And the lab was a miracle. Absolutely useless. There was nothing significant. But so many tubes, flasks, colored water moving from one tube into another tube, as if great experiments are going on. And then you will reach the doctor, and he never used ordinary methods of checking your pulse. No. You will have to lie down on an electric bed with a remote control. The bed will go far away. Underneath, you are looking up, and there are hanging on top of you big tubes, and wires will be put on your pulse, and the pulse will make the water in the tubes jump. The heart will be checked in the same way. Not by ordinary stethoscope. He has made his own arrangements. Visual to the patient that he has come to somebody genius, expert, and the man had no degrees, nothing at all. His compounder has all the degrees. He used to prescribe the medicines because he had no idea about the medicines. The compounder will prescribe, In fact, he never did any criminal thing. He never prescribed. He never signed. It was done by a man who had degrees, who was absolutely qualified to do it. But because he has arranged all this, and because on his board he has written strange degrees, and because those degrees don't exist, I don't think that they can be illegal. He is not claiming any legal degrees. He is not claiming that they are from any university that exists. It was all fiction. But the fiction was helpful. I have seen patients almost half cured only in the examination. Coming out, they said, we feel almost cured. And we have not taken the medicine yet. The prescription is here. Now we will go and purchase the medicine. But because he was done all this, this is what I say, law is blind. He has not done anything illegal. He has not harmed anybody. But he is in the jail. Because he was cheating people. He has not cheated anybody. To help somebody to live long, if that is cheating, then what is medical help? Because of human beings, medicine can never become an absolutely solid, 100% objective science. That's why there are so many medical schools. Ayurvedic, homeopathic, naturopathy, acupuncture, and many more. And they all help. Now, homeopathy is simply sugar pills. But it helps. The question is if the person believes. There are people who are fanatic naturopaths. Nothing can help them. Only naturopathy can help them. And which has no connection with the disease. One of my professor was madly in naturopathy. Any problem and a mud pack on your stomach. I used to go to him to enjoy because it was very relaxing and he had a very good arrangement, beautiful bath and showers and without any difficulty I used to go. That I am having very bad migraine. Said, don't be worried. Just a mud pack on your stomach. On the stomach, a mud pack is not going to help a migraine. But it used to help because I had no. A mud bath, the full bathtub, and you are drowned in the mud, just your head is out, but it is very comfortable and very cool. Soon he realized that you come again and again with new diseases. I said, that's true because I have got a book on naturopathy. From the book I get the disease. Then I come to you. First I read it, what you will do. If I want it to be done to me, I bring that disease. Otherwise, unnecessarily lying down in the mud for half an hour. If I want to, I have a book. He said, so you have been cheating me. I said, I am not cheating you. I am your most prominent patient in the university. Everybody laughs at you. I am the only one who supports you. And the others who come here come because of me. Because I say that my migraine disappeared. He said, my God, I have been suffering from migraine. Go. But their migraine has not gone. They used to become angry with me that my migraine, instead of going, has become more intense because cold stomach does not help migraine. I said, then your system must be working differently. My system, it helps me. There are homeopaths, fanatics who believe that homeopathy is the only right medicine. All other medicines are dangerous, particularly allopathy is poison. If you go to a homeopath, the first thing he will inquire, your whole history, from your birth up to now. You are suffering from a headache. One of the homeopathic doctors used to live near me. Whenever my father used to come to see me, I will take him to the homeopath. The The homeopath has been telling me that I pray you, don't bring your father. Because he starts back 3 generations. That his grandfather had a disease. I said, he is also a homeopath. He goes deeper into roots. He said, but he wastes so much time and I have to listen. And he had just a headache about his grandfather, all his diseases, then his father, all his diseases, then himself. By the time he comes, almost the whole day is finished. My other patients are gone, and I'm listening to him from his childhood, what kind of diseases he has suffered. And finally he comes that he has a headache. I said, my God, why did not you tell me before? He said, just as you are a homeopath, I am also a homeopath. And I want to give you a complete picture. The first thing they will ask all your diseases, because they connect that all diseases are connected. Your whole life is one single whole. It does not matter whether you had something in the leg, your head, they are part of one body. And for the understanding of the doctor, he has to know everything. The homeopath will ask you what kind of medicines from allopathy you have been taking. Because that is the root cause of all your diseases. All allopathic medicines are poison. That is the attitude of naturopathy too, that allopathy is poison. So first you have to do fasting, enema, just to clean you of all allopathy. Once you are clean of allopathy, one of my relatives was very much interested in naturopathy, and his wife had a small problem, and that was that her hands once in a while will get what you call pins and needles. It was not much of a problem, because for 2-3 minutes they will remain and they will be gone. I told him many times that don't make much fuss about it. Enjoy when it happens. It is not a pain. Just you feel needles and enjoy it. But the husband was a naturopath, so he brought a bigger naturopath and they started working on her. I tried hard to stop that. There is no need. It is not a much of a disease, and it happens once in a while. She is almost 50. 20 years more she will live. In 20 years at least it will happen 60 times, not more than that. Just drop the idea, enjoy it. But they were going to the very roots. They started putting her on fast, enema, vomiting. They cleaned her completely. And when she was completely clean, she became mad. And I told the husband that I was afraid you will kill the woman. You cleaned her so much, she is just a skeleton. And because she is just a skeleton, all is cleaned, those needles and pins are now happening all over the body. You have succeeded. But they insisted that it is naturopathy, not responsible for it. It is allopathy. She has been taking allopathic medicines for years. Finally, she became mad. The last time I went to see her, she used to love me very much. I had been chosen by my university to go in a deputation to Saudi Arabia. She was not in her senses, but when I told her that I have been chosen in a cultural deputation to go to Saudi Arabia, she heard it, she understood it, and she said only two things you have to remember. Don't forget. I said, I will not forget. You just tell me, what are those two things? First, don't use wooden sandals, because I use wooden sandals in the university, just to torture the whole university. I will be on one corner of the university and the whole university will know that I have entered. I am in the university, wherever I am. I could be found just by the sound. I said, why you are worried about my wooden sandals? He said, it won't look right in a foreign country what they will think of wooden sandals. No, you don't do that. I said, okay, I will not use wooden sandals. What is your second advice? He said, second advice, you are going to a Mohammedan country, don't speak against Quran. And the same night she died. And perhaps for 3 months, these were the only words of sanity from her. My own explanation is that she loved me so much that even in this insane state, Her love came over her madness to give me suggestions that don't speak against Mohammedans, against Quran, and don't use the wooden sandals. Man is a subjective being. If the patient loves the doctor, then water can function as a medicine. And if the patient hates the doctor, then no medicine can help. If the patient feels the doctor is indifferent, which ordinarily is the case with doctors, because they are also human beings, the whole day seeing patients, the whole day somebody is dying, they slowly become hard. They create a barrier to their emotions, sentiments, humanity. But this prevents their medicine to be effective. It is given almost in a robot-like way, as if a machine is giving you medicine. With love, the patient is not only getting medicine, around the medicine, something invisible is also coming to him. Medicine will help to understand man's subjectivity, his love, and will have to create some kind of synthesis in which love and medicine together are used to help. But one thing is absolutely certain, that medicine can never become entirely objective. That has been the effort of medical science up to now, to make it absolutely objective. Okay, Mom.
Ram